Amazonian language diversity is very big. There are over 300 indigenous languages in the Amazon region. They can be classified into some 25 language families, and then there are some 20 isolates, which are not related to any other language or language family known. If you compare this to Europe, where there are, let's say, 2 or 3 language families and one isolate, the Basque language, then you will realize uh, how diverse linguistics and languages are in the Amazon region. Language is more than just a system to communicate information between individuals. It also has important functions for expressing the origin of people, expressing identity of individuals, and furthermore, it conveys traditional knowledge of groups. It has strong emotional value, cultural values, artistic values. Furthermore, languages teaches teach science about, let's say, prehistory of certain regions. It teaches us about the workings of the brain, about human cognition. So languages are more than just communicating information. It is interesting that regions with high biological diversity are also regions with high linguistic diversity. And that's a worldwide phenomenon, which is an aspect that's really treated in more detail in chapter 10, which is about so-called biocultural diversity. 300 languages seems to be a lot, but really it is only 25% of what originally was spoken in the Amazon when the first Europeans arrived. So, with the onset of uh, European colonial expansion all over the world, language diversity has gone down dramatically. And in the Amazon region, most of this language diversity, the number of languages and their diversity, is highly endangered. And we have a table in our article, table 4, which is a selection, a representative selection of 16 languages chosen from the 300, which represents 5% of the languages of the Amazon region. The second column here gives you their genealogical classification into families, which shows you how diverse genealogically they are. Furthermore, it gives you the countries where they are spoken, showing how widespread the phenomenon is, how widespread geographically language diversity is in the Amazon. Furthermore, you have 2 columns with speaker numbers and population numbers. And then you have a column classifying the languages with regard to endangerment situation. Now, if you look at the speaker and population numbers, in many cases, there is a great difference between them. Suppose that you have a language with 20,000 speakers and the population is 20,000 speakers, then it can be considered quite a safe language. It will not die out immediately. It will continue to be spoken for a long time. However, if a language has 20,000 speakers and on a population of 200,000, then that's only 10% of the population that speaks the language, which apparently then is seriously endangered. Well, the Amazon have many languages in that kind of situation, and 20,000 speakers is a lot really for an Amazonian language. Most have less, and many languages are just critically endangered. About a quarter of the languages have just a few speakers, 2 or 3 speakers on a population of thousands or hundreds. Anyway, this table is not just a table with some numbers. It is a table that shows you a lot about the present situation of the languages in the Amazon. Anyway, by the way, most of this diversity is not very well documented, not adequately, and furthermore, it seems that uh, language diversity can be considered just as endangered as biological diversity, and perhaps even more endangered. So, in fact, uh, the destruction of ecosystems in the Amazon, the destruction of biodiversity and of indigenous peoples and of languages are really part of the same problem. Um, that is why our chapter has some recommendations. What we need is reliable sociolinguistic censuses. We need consultation and respect for indigenous demands with regard to language and also what is essential here is the protection of indigenous rights and indigenous lands. Furthermore, it would be nice to have some more general awareness among the public of the value of linguistic diversity and of languages. And what we also need is more support for professional documentation and analysis of languages, which is one of the big treasures of the Amazon region.